first of all, it's wonderful to see Cynthia here. Thank you for coming. We're honored that you're here. We're honored to be honoring these people. We're honored to be honoring Carlos. I've always felt it's an honor to be directing this series that has Carlos's name on it. Those of you who were at the concert last night got a taste of what the rest of the world has known for years now. I will tell you that we had a little bit of a problem with David, with his bio. With the first bio that was sent to us to print in the program, we just didn't have room because it was just way too long. There's just too much in it. So Junie, I can fill you in later, but basically the way to summarize it is that basically David has sung with everybody, everywhere, every major opera company, every major orchestra virtually in the world, and everywhere he goes, people say, oh my God, he's amazing. And those of you who were at the concert last night will certainly agree with that. Just a couple of words about Carlos. Carlos has been a beloved figure in this community. I actually have a little bit of a family connection with Carlos. I started studying the violin when I was a little boy with a member of the New York Philharmonic, way back when, Saul Greitzer, I don't know if you remember that name. And when I first came to Congress as the Dean of the Music School, we brought students over to play and to sing for Carlos at the house on Glendale. And Carlos loved it. He would come into the living room and listen. And I knew Carlos a little bit when I was a little boy, but then I knew him later on because my father, when Carlos was president of the orchestra, was the tour physician for the Philharmonic for several years. And so my family got to know lots of the fellows in the Philharmonic. And I just have to say, when I mention these names of the members of the Philharmonic from way back when, 40 years ago, the smile on Carlos's face just lit up the room. It was wonderful to see the affection for which he held all the musicians in the orchestra, and all of you who knew Carlos know the affection that we all held him in and the honor. He was a remarkable man in the field of music. He knew everybody. He was beloved by everybody. He was an incredibly innovative orchestral administrator. He started the Parks concerts in New York City. All these things that people in New York City take for granted. It was Carlos Moseley who started it. So we're all honored that Carlos was a member of this community. And it's so fitting that Carlos and David would be on the same marker. These are really two of the greatest figures in the world of classical music who have come from Spartanburg. The two sons of Spartanburg who have made the greatest mark in the world of classical music.
This is such a wonderful honor. I'll probably say that 10 times. As you all know, as we've heard, I was born here in 1966 in Spartanburg. My parents traveled from Decorah, Iowa to Spartanburg while my mother was still pregnant. And all I remember about that trip was that my mother said when they got to town, they drove by the Beacon and Dad had to pull the car over. But that didn't stop us from going as a family probably 3 times a week. You know, growing up here, people are so surprised when I tell them where I'm from, and then I tell them what has come from this city, not just in the classical world, but in every part of the world. And for me personally, growing up at Converse College, taking piano in the pre-college department, seeing performances with my parents, with Jane Rolandi, with, I'll leave names out so I won't keep naming names, to Dorman High School Orchestra, which I played cello. It just, you couldn't help but have all of that soak in as a child. You probably didn't know what was happening at that time, but I certainly, after 25 years of traveling the world singing, I know what an important place this is. And to be honored on the same day as Carlos Moseley and have his sister here is enormous to me, because Carlos was a huge influence early on in my career and such a verbal advocate for me, and so supportive, and is so respected in not just this area of the country, but all over the world. So to be honored with this the same day is really enormous. So I want to thank you all. I'm going to take this and I'm going to frame this, and even though it has not been announced officially, I'm going to announce it here officially. This is going to go on the wall of my new voice studio. and I'm joining the University of Michigan voice faculty next fall. Stopping singing, but I want to sing more, but I love teaching, and Michigan is a special place. My parents met there, married there, got their degrees there, and it's a special place, so I'm really thrilled about that, and I'm glad to tell my hometown about it first. Anyway, thank you all.